Welcome back to Your Story, Your Glory, our next episode. And you must have seen in the last 2 to 3 episodes, I had a co-host, Hani Khanduja. And today, yeah, she's here. We're going to hear her story. Hani, are you ready to share with us your story?
Yeah, I am a little nervous because today I'm on the other side of the table. So, yes, bring it on.
So, Hani, a lot of our audience know that you are a speaker, trainer, a co-host on this podcast, passionate about product, and a lot of other things. But they don't know who is the person behind all these. So, my question, and rather a question from our audience, is who you are as a person.
Who am I? I think this is the biggest question in the world. I'm a very simple girl with lots of dreams and aspirations and ambitions for life. And as I always used to tell my friend that I'm not the only one, but I'm the pampered one. And my friends know me as a crazy person who will sometimes walk not just one, but several extra miles. And they know that I'm there for them. For my family, like my mom always used to say, I'm less of a daughter, more of a son, because I always try to support my family. I have two nephews and one niece, and I love playing with them. They are not mine. So that's my family. But yes, as a person, I always try to be understanding. I respect everybody who's in my life for who they are. And I'm very proud of my name also, Hani Khandija. And I think,
Wow.
Deepak, this is enough.
Friends, if I have to add one thing, Hani being the most compassionate person. She has always been compassionate with friends, with families, and look forward to help others, as she said. Coming to my another question, did you always wanted to be a speaker or a trainer?
Actually, if I have to tell you the truth, in my childhood, I always thought that I never want to be a teacher.
Okay.
So when I say a trainer or a coach or a speaker, somewhat the trainer particularly lies in that category. I'm a counselor for a Gavels club in Faridabad. And when they call me ma'am, I feel a little awkward. One of our side hustle where Deepak and I were a part of, Speak to Shine, their child gave me a beautiful gift which had a saying, the teaching is the best service in the world. And I
Absolutely.
was like, oh my God, I never wanted to be a teacher. So I never thought of being a speaker, a trainer, or any of these actually. I never thought of it in my childhood. It is just something that happened in the journey, and I embraced it and accepted it because I loved it a lot. So,
I'm
yeah.
sure talking about the journey, our audience would like to know a little bit about your journey of becoming a trainer or a speaker.
It just evolved from some accidental steps, I would say.
Ah,
I started my journey with Infosys Limited as a software engineer, which I never wanted. I landed in that job and I was on a bench. So I was literally free throughout the day. I was roaming around the campus and I was doing everything possible. Like
mhm.
I was a part of Zumba, I was doing salsa, I was doing painting, I was going to the gym, I was trying my hands on swimming. So I was doing everything available in the campus because I was on bench. And one fine Wednesday morning, one of my colleagues asked me, would you like to accompany me to a Toastmaster meeting? I was like, what would I do in a Toastmaster meeting? The name itself sounds so weird. She said, if nothing, you would have a samosa. And I was
Ah,
like,
yeah.
okay, okay, not bad. For an evening tea and samosa, who would say no? Let's go. I'm not going into the detail, but that's how my first Toastmaster meeting happened. I became a Toastmaster, and since then, I am a Toastmaster. And I think I owe my speaking and my training journey to Toastmasters role in my life. One of the persons saw me delivering a training session during a workshop at Toastmasters, and that's how I got my first break as a trainer. I was asked to facilitate a training session for Boston Consulting Group. And that was my first training session ever. And
Wow.
a workshop for another IT company that I was doing in Gurgaon. And that's how I got my first training assignment. I started loving it. I remember one of my mentor in Pune used to tell me, the day you start loving your own voice when you're saying something or when you're speaking something on the stage, you would change your direction to something which is bigger. So I think that change happened for me on the stage. So that's
Wow.
how I
From
landed here.
software engineer to samosa to trainer. Wow. I like that.
Yeah, there were a lot of other strides also that happened in the course. I think I have been a part of several industries and different functions,
Yeah.
but now I work with an L&D organization as a product lead, where I work on developing or probably implementing the ideas to make learning engagement fun and impactful. And yes, I facilitate training sessions as well.
Superb. Awesome. I think the message coming very clearly from here, if somebody invites you to Toastmasters meeting, never say no. Go and have samosas.
Yes, never ever
Say no.
say no.
I've always seen you talking about mentors. Can you throw some light role of mentors at different juncture of your life?
I think for me, it's a big yes. And I know it would call me for more vulnerability if I had to say that I was the kind of person, and somehow I'm still that bit left in me where I seek validation, where I seek approval from people, where I seek guidance from people, even when I have little surety in my head. So I think that is where the support of mentoring really helps. Sometimes to reinstate the confidence in you, sometimes to unveil and reveal the best in you. Sometimes you would not know your blind spot. Sometimes you need somebody to highlight it. And I think that's where the role of mentor happens. From a tuition teacher to your best friend, or from your Toastmaster member, from your to your boss, anybody can be your mentor if you are coachable. Just like we say that you are ready to be mentored, you are listening to somebody's advice and you seek guidance and you implement it. I know I'm not very good if somebody gives me a lot of suggestions and I implement all of them, but I try to. I have had many mentors and I really appreciate the presence, and I'm really grateful to their presence in my life, be it a Toastmaster, be it my friends who sometimes act like a relationship coach, sometimes your own sister who will
Yeah.
act like a mentor to you when you are not able to decide on how to have your wardrobe ready for the next
Absolutely.
season. My mentors in the journey have really helped me get where I am, to who I am today, and what I am able to service to the community.
Yeah, as they say, when the student is ready, teacher will appear.
Yes, I think I was always ready for the Yoda,
Yeah.
and there are several Yodas in my life.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic, honey. Great to know about it. Now, let me ask you a very different question. What is your favorite productivity hack that you wanted to apply in life, or you have already applied in life that you would like our listeners to apply? Think,
Switch it off when you're working. I mean, I think that's the productivity hack that I want to apply, and I want everybody to apply. This is the biggest distraction. And I know that this is a device that probably our life is running with, and we can't live without it. Be it any messenger, be it emails, or be it any mobile application that you're using. But I think one of the best productivity hack that I have come across is the power hour.
yeah,
So if you want to really focus on something, just get rid of any device that can be a distraction. It can be as simple as a YouTube list on your desktop itself. You have to get rid of everything which can be a distraction. To me, the biggest is the mobile phone.
one interesting question was always in my mind for you. Looking at your personality, looking at your caliber and capability, and the time that I worked with you, if you had an option, what other profession you would like to try apart from being a trainer and a product leader or a coach?
What is the other profession that I would want to be into? Is actually, if you ask me, I just want to travel and travel and travel. So if travel gets me money, bring it on. I'll do it. Probably I'll write, I'll post videos, I'll share pictures, I'll talk about culture, I'll talk about people, I'll talk to people, I'll try to help them in my travel.
I think this is a great idea. Videos and your blogs and travel can really get you money. No doubt about it.
Yes.
Absolutely. You've been doing a lot of leadership programs with various corporates, a lot of team building programs. I have seen a lot of challenges happening in teams across the world, especially after pandemic. What are some of the key things that you feel as a trainer, as a coach, as a when you design programs, when you talk to leaders, that will really create amazing teams? When we talk about one team, one goal, is there a problem with leaders or with teams? Where exactly we are heading?
I'll give you an example for that. Currently, I'm working with the learning and development of a software company, and we are delivering training sessions for them. We are basically facilitating sessions for them for customer centricity, knowing their customer well, being more quality and process oriented, and how to develop expert thinking.
Okay.
These are the three competencies that I have worked very closely in the last 4 months, if I have to say. But I think one core element that stands strong, irrespective of which role you are into and which software, tool, product, or anything that you're working on. One is empathy, understanding others' perspective, and second, communication.
Super.
Why I say understanding? Because I know only my part. If I have ever to put myself into my colleague's shoes of what he or she might be going through or what challenges he might have, I'm not just saying about the personal life, but about the professional ground. If I can understand what he's going through, what she's going through, and then I can accordingly act on it, I think I'll be a lot better. And second is when I develop this understanding for people around me. Now that's valid for all the relationship that you have. But when I know that somebody is going through a tough patch, or if somebody is facing any challenge, my action will change accordingly, and so would be my communication. The way I speak to them, the way I connect with them. I think most of the people, and just to highlight, I'm not mentioning any of the oral or written communications or the way you write emails or the way you communicate on call. It's or the way you present yourself on the meeting. No. How do you make your communication more human? How do you connect with them, understand them clearly, listen to them clearly, and then respond to them? I think that's where the connect happens. Communication is the best way for connection. These are the two elements, be it for leaders or for the people at the base. Everybody needs to develop the understanding. Like for a person who's working on the ground level, needs to understand what kind of responsibilities a manager would have. A lot would be going on in his platter as well, right? You are only dealing with your problem. He might be dealing with the problem of 70 people in his team. So can you
Absolutely.
try and understand his perspective and then accordingly communicate? So I think these are the two elements that I have observed in my training journey. And as I always say, I'm still learning. I'm yet to learn more challenges and come up with more solutions and help the community little better. Yes, but as a learner, so far, I have observed these two elements.
Let's come out of your profession now and let me take you to your childhood. If you could go back to 18-year-old self, what would be one piece of advice you will give to yourself?
First thing first, I'm really bad at numbers. So the moment you say 18 years of self, I was actually calculating in my head, okay, what was I doing when I was 18? Was I at school? Was it I college? Was it I, what was I doing? So, okay, leave it. But one of the best advice that I will give myself, be carefree. I mean, yes, take risk, and don't fret too much. I have been kind of girl who was like, this has to be like this has to be like this. So I know I have been like a person who was seeking so much of perfection, so much of uh, prim and proper elements of life. But I think now when I look back, I think that I should have taken more risk so that the regrets in this age would be less. So if you want to regret less, take more risk in your young and or like childhood days. 18 is still not childhood, Deepak. It's still,
Yeah.
I mean, like you are in your teens. There are so many emotions that you're going through when you're in your teens, be it family, be it friends, be it new relationship that you're building, be it what do you want to do as in your career, or just like I did, I created my long bucket list in probably my teens, and then you start wondering, okay, when would I get my first tattoo, or when would I travel to a beach, and what would I do that? So there are a lot of things in your list by when you're 18. But if I have to go back and say, like, honey, you should have taken more risks. Simple, simple.
Go and take risks, my friend. That's a very good advice from somebody who's not 18 now, but she looks 18.
Thank you. But okay,
Yeah, but
I
yes, it's a
18 is
great
too young.
advice from a trainer who is really empowering a lot of teams across the country. She is telling us go and take risks because there is no fun in riskless living.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
One lesson your profession taught you that you would like everyone to learn at some point of life.
Two lessons that I've got, because I'm into two kind of profession. When I say training, I have learned it
Mm.
very strongly. Practice before you preach. I think everybody in the world has an advice for you.
I
Even
know.
your nephew has.
Absolutely.
Even your younger siblings, or any of you, even somebody traveling in metro would have an advice for you. So as a trainer, I had learned, and we do it at our organization, that whatever learning tools we try, whatever activities that we develop, first we practice it on ourselves, right? So practice what you preach. If you believe in something, practice yourself first, so that you lead by example. You don't lead just
Absolutely.
by words. It's your actions that speak louder. I think that's one lesson I've learned from my training. From my product role, I have learned a lesson from the consultant that I work with in Bangalore, and I would really want to give her the credit. She's Radhika Sharma from Coach AI, and she has said that, honey, you have to uh, anticipate things and then plan long term.
Absolutely.
So in my product role, I was like, okay, this UI has to be reviewed, I'll do it tomorrow.
Mm.
This document has to be created, I'll do it tomorrow. So if this flowchart has to be done, oh, I'll do it in 2 hours. So I never anticipated that something can take longer. And I think this was a beautiful lesson for my life, that sometimes you have to anticipate what can go wrong. Are you prepared for it? Are you
Yeah.
strategic toward it?
Mm.
And I think that's how you backtrack certain actions of your life and plan yourself a little better. If I know I have to be at some gathering at 9 a.m., and accordingly I'll plan my steps before. I think that applies for life, that how do you anticipate things, and how do you plan long term, how do you look strategically. So I think that's what my product role has taught me, that I need to plan my things, I need to look at different perspectives when I'm giving commitments to people.
I have also experienced that your participants will get to know when you speak whether you're practicing what you're preaching. And as a leader, as a project leader, you need to anticipate and rather force see things that can happen when you are completing a project. These are two great sharing that you have shared with us for our listeners. I loved listening to this.
Deepak, can I ask you a question? Have
Sure.
you shared your story on your own podcast?
Uh,
Has that ever happened to you?
Not yet, honey.
Okay, okay, hold on. I know I'm stretching this episode. We wanted to keep it very short. You just wanted my story, but now let's turn the table. Let
Okay,
me
this is a
ask
surprise.
you. Let me ask you your story,
Okay.
and I know all the questions will come on the fly because I'm not prepared for it, but I want to do it. Are you ready for it?
I'm always ready, as my mentor Craig Valentine said, don't get ready, stay ready.
Stay ready. Okay, Craig Valentine. I hope you hear this. You have coined your podcast, Your Story, Your Glory. And if in just 2 minutes, and I'm going to put a timer because I'm very bad at timing.
Okay.
Okay. The glorious part of your story so far, what would that be?
I think if I look at glorious part of my story was that transition from being an introvert to an extrovert. I was a guy who used to sit behind table when I was 37-year old, never wanted to go and speak in front of more than one person, always used to communicate as HR head of an organization from one to one when they were employees joining the organization and or taking interviews. But I always wanted to do something different. And when I saw a trainer delivering a training program in our office, and after he finished the training program, which was only for 3 hours, all 35 people stood and started clapping for him. I thought, I said, I've spent 18 years in my corporate life. I've done so many good things in my life. I've achieved so many promotions in my life, but nobody ever clapped for me. And that day, I decided that I should make sure that one day I should learn to speak in front of more than two people and make sure that I get that round of applause. And when I took that decision that day, the universe helped me. People start coming to my life, organizations start coming to my life, things starts happening. And today I've been able to achieve all those things. I think that transition was, and that particular training program that I attended, I still remember the name of that trainer, Mr. P.S. Vasu. Uh, I attended that program that actually changed my thought process of moving from being introvert to extrovert.
Bang on. 1 minute 58 seconds. And here's the applause for you, Deepak. And I'm very sure people across the globe will be applauding for you, and they are applauding for you. And your glorious moment would always be celebrated. I'm very sure you are already celebrating that glorious part of your life. Okay. So I know that was a glorious moment. If I ask you, what has been the most difficult decision of your life that might have transformed your life, that might have given you a new direction? But at that point in time, if I ask you to go back to that very moment, maybe you were broken, maybe you were impaired, and it was very, very difficult for your life, what would that be?
Nobody has ever asked me this question, but someday I wanted to answer this question. And today on this, rather my podcast, Your Story, Your Glory, you are asking me this question, honey. Thank you so much. Very important question for my life. There are many, actually, there are many. But one thing, and which I would like to share with my audience and my friends and the people who are going to listen to this podcast was my move from India to America in 2019. When my family moved here, there were a lot of personal challenges. I was going through a lot of, as they say, shit happens. And I had to take a decision, very hard decision, to move from India to America for my family. A lot of people discouraged me. A lot of people. Whenever I spoke to anybody, they said, have you gone mad? You are not in IT. You are not a young guy. You don't have anybody in America. You don't have any special skill that you can take to America. You will be a big failure in that country at the age of 48. But I wanted to move here just for my daughters, for my family. And I took that decision. And somehow, me and one of my friend, my co-author, Mukesh Kolothia, we have coined this term while we were leaders in District 41, that take a decision and then get busy in making it right. And that particular time, that particular sentence really empowered me. I thought, now I've taken a decision and I'll get busy in making it right. Cutting the long story short, I moved. I worked in all kinds of places, whether it's restaurants, whether small shops, or driving Uber or driving Lyft. But on February 3rd, I completed 3 years in this country. And I am happy that I have established myself as a credible person, and hopefully the transformation is in the progress. It has not happened, but now I know that I've created a platform to launch myself again at the age of 51 in this country.
I think that's something to learn from. Again, just like I said, take risk. I think you took the biggest risk of your life at
Uh,
what, 49,
yeah.
right? I think taking risk, not just at 18, but 48, and always taking that risk with a belief in your heart that yes, you can do it. And when you take a decision, making that decision right. I think that's the biggest lesson for me also right now. That whatever decisions I take, rather than thinking back that, oh my God, why did I do this? Why did I take this decision? I should not have done this. Rather than dwelling on that, rather than wasting time on it, I should actually focus my energies on making it right anyhow. I have three elements to ask you, and you have to think it in 3 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, on the go. Any moment that you want to relive in your life, relive. Maybe it was really happy moment and you want to relive it again.
My 11th and 12th class,
Why?
because I was on top of my passion, because I wanted to be a in dramatics and basketball player, and I was participating in those two things like crazy, and teachers and students are all crazy about my dramatics and about my basketball game. And I think though I have never went to participate in movies, but those dramatics that I learned during those days helped me a lot in making my movement very easy on the stage today.
You know what these answers signify? That you should go back, play a basketball game.
I
You
still
should try. You should
I
try theater.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I whenever I get a chance, I play basketball. Yeah. In US a lot.
If I have to remind your movie, what would be the best and beautiful relationship that you would want to go back to?
I think I would like to go back to a relationship with my dad. Unfortunately, I didn't get time to build that relationship with him. He was in army, very disciplined, and we always used to fear a lot from him. And by the time I was 18, and we started a little bit talking to him. And by the time I was 23, when I got married, and it was very difficult to talk to him about my marriage. And suddenly, when my wife came home, and he started being very open with her, and I also started a little bit open with him, and I thought this is the time I'm going to build this relationship. And I was loving those moments from January 1995 to March 1995, and he was there for 3 months when I loved those moments with him, and he expired. I think if I ever get a chance to relive that relationship, I would love and go back to that relationship again. And I think when you were talking about communication, my challenge was with him was that I never communicated with him. Somewhere, some fear, some hesitation. I think I never expressed to him that how much I love him. There was some fear, some hesitance. So I always tell people, when you love somebody, when you care about somebody, when go and tell them. I do that. I do that always. Whether it's my daughter, whether it's my friends, whether it's my mom, I will immediately go. So do it.
I know. And I think that was the most touching message that we can give to the audience. And I think everybody would have already heard it, that don't hold on to yourself when it comes to expression. Go say it. I know, I remember I attended a landmark education course, and someone told me there that how many times or probably how frequently you hug your dad.
Yeah.
In an Indian culture, it's not very often that you get to hug your dad, particularly. Moms, yes, we do that. The the cuddle with the mom, the hug with the mom is something that we live with. But for
Absolutely.
your dad, you don't hug him very often.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best form of expression. I do it very often now. And I think everybody should be doing it. Thank you,
Well, do it.
Deepak, for
Yeah.
reminding it,
Yeah, do it.
for going back to that relationship. Another read that I have for you as a question is, if you have to retake any part of your life where you think that, okay, this didn't go well. If I ever get a chance, I will cut that and do a retake. What would that be?
I think I'll go to college.
Okay, that means that you never been to the college?
No, because my dad was not well when he came back from army, retired from army. I was 18-year-old. I thought I should start working, and I took college admission, which was offline, not in person. So I never been to college for my graduation. I only went for exams, and I realized recently that it's so important to have that experience of college, because that's an experience. And I want rather I if I ever get a chance, even at the age of 65, um, I might go to college.
I was about to ask you, what's stopping you now? You
uh,
are in US. You have the privilege, or I would say you are privileged to go into any reputed college. Like people dream of going to the US and doing their master's. Why don't you consider it
yeah,
right
I will do
now?
it. The only reason is that at this point of time I have some priorities. As I said, I have a platform laid out and it's time to launch the
Yeah.
rocket. And
Okay.
I will do. Thank you for reminding me this. And it has brought my memory that this is one thing that I want to do.
Yes, definitely do it. In fact, I have it in my list that maybe for 6 month course, maybe for a short duration certification, I would definitely
Yeah,
want to go back to a college. I always wanted to, and I think when you said it, it just popped into my head that why not now? If
yeah.
we are talking about taking risk, about taking decisions and making them right, then the age is just a number,
You will
right?
hear it
So
soon. You will hear it soon.
looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so Deepak, now I have certain questions coming as rapid fire elements in my head.
Oh
Are
my
you ready
God.
for it?
This is interesting.
I know I told you my friends always say that I'm a crazy person. So these are some crazy ideas coming in my head when you have already turned the table. Okay, are you ready for it?
Yes.
What is your most memorable meal from the past?
Most memorable meal.
Yeah.
Yeah, recently I had brisket
Oh my
uh, with
God.
with you, honey,
Oh yes.
and
Oh, at Bucky's.
at Bucky's, and that was, I think, an experience in itself. The way they were
Yeah.
preparing it, and the way they were
And you
shouting
remember we
that,
shot a video?
yeah, the way they enjoying that whole moment. So the idea about preparing a meal and eating a meal is not about eating or preparing a meal. It is what you do while you're preparing it and eating it. Are you enjoying it? And I think that is what I loved.
The way they were preparing biscuit was so much of joy, so much of enthusiasm and love. And I think when I ate that brisket burger, I think that was, and it was just a bliss. I would say the best ever brisket I ever had in my
So,
time that I
so,
spent at Houston. I think just because they were preparing it with so much joy, it
so,
was
honey,
so
why don't
yummy.
you stop talking about it? I will insert a video out here to show
Yes,
them how what
yes.
I'm talking about.
If we could sing the song, we'll definitely do it. How
Yeah.
would it go like Deepak?
Sauce.
Sauce on the brisket,
Yeah.
something like that. Okay, Deepak.
Fresh sauce on board!
Any place that you have visited in the past where you would like to return to?
Yes, Kashmir.
Why?
Because when I visited Kashmir, it was an amazing feeling, honey. I visited there to conduct a training program for Vodafone. And unfortunately, I have this habit of booking tickets, going there, doing the program, and coming back next day. Unfortunately, I was not able to spend much time. I was only half day extra there. I enjoyed that half day in Kashmir, and such peace, natural beauty, no pollution. I think that's really, as when they say it's heaven on earth, it is. So I would love to go back to Kashmir whenever I get a chance.
Deepak, the next question coming to my head is, in the movie of your life, who would play Deepak Sharma?
And if I have to look at Bollywood actors, I think the perfect person who can live my seriousness and my fun is Ranbir Singh.
Ranveer Singh.
Yeah, he can play that role very well. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's crazy. My next rapid fire question is best material gift that you have ever received.
The thing that has really impacted me in a big way is a book called 5 a.m. Club.
Okay, so someone gifted you a book, and that was the best gift that you have ever received.
Yes.
Cool. One craziest but secret bucket list item that's still open on your list.
So one thing that when you say secret, today is going to, I'm going to release this secret. I want to go uh, to Hawaii and at least for 1 month. And
Okay.
yeah, and I would just spend time on the beach there in Hawaii and do all the crazy things that I can do in Hawaii.
Okay. I would not take you to the crazy thing that you want to go in Hawaii, but 1 month vacation in Hawaii. May you be blessed with it very
Yeah.
soon. So if I have to go on a little bit on a professional note, I know what do you do, and but still, if I have to ask you, what's the best part of your work? You may want to highlight it for the audience, what exactly you do in your professional journey right now, but
Yeah.
what is the best part of it?
So when you talk about my professional journey, currently I'm part of this big insurance company called Advanced Insurance Services Agency as Vice President Marketing and Sales, and that has a relation to my journey from India to US. When I came to US and I was interviewed in this company, and the current boss asked me a very simple question: "What is your one skill?" I said, "I can speak." He said, "Okay, come from tomorrow." They were looking for somebody who can make presentations, who can go and market organizations. And today I've been traveling all across the country and making connections and developing relationships with CEOs of various IT companies and helping them understand how they can protect their business with various unforeseen circumstances that is happening in this unpredictable world with pandemic and all those things. Apart from that, the other exciting part of my journey is my being on the stage in front of people. When I go on the stage, I get some crazy feeling. It is my passion that when I go on stage and I get a chance to help people, empower audience, to take them on a journey where uh, they can learn from my story. Because my story is of a common man story. Everybody goes through similar kind of challenges, and I always like to share my challenges, my story, and share with them so that they can see they are no different. If I can come through these kind of challenges at the age of 48 and develop something in this country, anybody at any stage of life, if they want to do it, anything, they can do it. So I'm excited that God has given me this opportunity, this skill, this voice, which can help to change the world in maybe in little manner, as Steve Jobs always say, that you have an opportunity to make dent in this universe. So I feel I have that opportunity and I would like to encash it in a big way.
Wow. I hope you keep on creating more dents
Yeah.
and inspiring people, because I think every answer that you're giving to my question has a message. And I would not like to waste my time of question to coin those message. I want the listener to have a strong listening skill to find out the message. And I think this one clearly had. Okay, so I have two questions in my mind, Deepak, and maybe you would like to club the answer, or maybe you would like to pick any of these. How would you like the last chapter of your biography? Or how do you think the first two lines, or probably the first part of your eulogy, to be read by your family member or your friend?
Very thought-provoking questions, honey. And if somebody is writing my biography or somebody is talking about me after I have gone from this world, I hope they should be able to reflect upon my life and look at, did I love enough in this world, or did I spread enough love in this world, Or was I able to serve enough to the community and people or my friends or family around me? My idea is that what I always try to do is to spread more and more love. And God has given us two hands and two legs to move, to serve more and more people. And if they are talking about these two things in my biography, I think my purpose of coming on this earth shall be achieved 110%.
Wow. So, with this message of love and service to the community,
Yeah.
somebody writing this last chapter of your life, I think that's a beautiful sum up to your story. And I might have missed out certain questions, but I know Deepak will kill me and literally throw me out of the podcast if I take even a single minute more. We have already stretched, but I think this was amazing, Deepak, to be on your podcast and interview you. And thank
Thank
you
you
for
so
giving me
much.
this opportunity.
Thank you so
I
much
think
for
I
this.
had good
I,
fun.
I want to say
Yeah.
thank you to you, honey, for this surprise, because today the plan was to listen to your story, and you jumped into it and started talking to me. I think this came as a good surprise for our audience also.
Wow, thank you. So I think we should keep on bringing such surprises for our audiences as well as our guests to listen very interesting stories from the world,
Yeah.
from on this platform called Your Story, Your Glory. Uh, I think yes, we'll keep on sharing stories of people, not just speakers, but people, the real people that you meet every day,
Yeah.
whom we meet every day, because every story is special, and that's what I have realized. And that's with that vision in my mind, I have joined this podcast with Deepak. And I hope I keep bringing this fun always. Deepak, you want to add something?
No, just thank you so much, honey. And thank you so much, all of you, for listening to our podcast, Your Story, Your Glory. As Honey said, our story is special, your story is special, and every story is special. And keep listening to it. And me and Honey are coming with a very interesting thing, that is Your Story, Your Glory discussion or brainstorming or whatever you call it on Clubhouse. Once in every 2 weeks to start with, and then we'll see how it goes. So we would like you to go and subscribe to our Clubhouse, uh, Your Story, Your Glory. We'll see you soon on that channel also, and keep listening to our podcast, or keep listening to keep sharing these videos with your friends, with your colleagues, and we will keep coming back to you with some interesting stories. Bye bye.
Bye.